حي على الفلاح.
With the arrival of February, the most awaited day of the month is the 14th of February. Valentine's Day, or the Day of Love, is celebrated on this date. And the event is celebrated all across the world with full enthusiasm and joy. A majority of Muslims does not celebrate this day, while those who do on the name of liberalism and religious freedom. The Quran says, "Guide us to the straight path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not the way of those who earned your anger, nor of those who went astray." Now, a Muslim needs to ask whether the Valentine's Day celebration is the right path. Is it the path on which the earlier Muslims followed? Is it the path that will lead to blessings from Allah Almighty? Or is it the path that will lead to the anger of Allah Almighty? Valentine's Day is haram. No matter how much a person would like to sugarcoat or paint it, wallahi, it will stay as haram. How many Muslims abstain from haram intermingling? We greet and even speak to ghayr mahrams. This is shameless and unbecoming of true Muslims. Everyone complains about the sad plight of the ummah, but we're the very same ummah who break the laws of Allah as if we're going to live forever and that we will never die and see the qabr. Every single person will taste maut. Death is inevitable. We're only going to live in this world once. We find an avalanche of stupid excuses to justify haram intermingling. So how then is the ummah expected to progress? Allah's punishment is around the corner, and every soul shall taste what He has sent forth for Himself. As we look around us, we realize that the young Muslim generation is very much affected by the concepts and ideas of the Western countries and foreign religions. Due to this factor, many of our Muslim brothers and sisters have forgotten their true identity. When they spend most of their time with the people who are far away from Islam, they tend to imitate their lifestyle. Valentine Week is created on the idea of celebrating love between two people, which developed as a concept in Western countries. Our religion is very clear and straightforward, and no one has the right to question the teachings of Islam. Among the feasts which were innovated by Shaitan and which are made pleasing to many Muslims by him is the Feast of Love, or Valentine's Day. The signs of celebrating this day, unfortunately, have started to spread among Muslims. Many Muslims have become captivated by the glow of Western civilization, along with its scientific and economic development. Therefore, they started to imitate the Westerners and their traditions and behavior. They drifted behind them, became deceived by their civilization, and thought highly of everything coming from the West. They acted as if these were aspects of development and civilization. The Prophet, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, was true when he said about them, "You will certainly follow the ways of those who came before you, handspan by handspan, cubit by cubit, to the extent that if they entered the hole of a lizard, you will enter it too." They said, "Do you mean the Jews and the Christians?" He said, "Who else?" Whatever new trend is introduced by non-Muslims, they are so inspired by their mundane, worldly progress that they immediately fall for it, head over heels. And however filthy or impermissible that innovation is, they cannot distance themselves from it. This comes from natural weaknesses, love, for novelty, haste, being a prisoner of the desires of nafs and shaitan, distance from religion, neither complying with the religion nor directing the children to follow the rules of Islamic manners and etiquettes. Now let's have a look at the history of Valentine's Day and how it was celebrated. The history of Valentine's Day is said to date back to the 3rd century CE. There was a priest named Valentine who lived in the kingdom of the Roman Emperor Claudius II. Due to some sort of disobedience, the king had the priest thrown into prison. The priest and the jailer's daughter fell in love with each other, and the girl abandoned her religion and reverted to Christianity. From then on, the girl would come to meet the priest every day with a red rose. When the king came to know about their affair, he ordered the priest to be hanged. When the priest was informed about this order, that he had been sentenced to death, he wished to spend the final moments of his life with his lover. And for that purpose, he sent a letter to her, at the bottom of which he wrote, "Sincerely yours, Valentine." Finally, the priest was hanged on February 14th. And ever since that day, 14th February is celebrated as a day of love. How this day is celebrated is that young boys and girls go out on dates, exchange gifts, and secretly or publicly indulge in vulgar, immodest acts as much as they can. According to a report, the sale of condoms skyrockets on Valentine's Day, and majority of the buyers are young boys and girls. Gift shops and flower shops are swarming with people. In countries with Eastern traditional values, where they don't have an open license to do as they please, young boys and girls look for secret spots. And for this very same reason, hotel bookings soar, alcohol sale and consumption spike, and an ocean of vulgarity and immodesty are seen at the beaches. It is extremely regretful and sad that on this day, even Muslims ignore the commands of Almighty Allah and His noble messenger and publicly commit sins, not only increasing the darkness of their book of deeds, but also polluting the sanctity of the Muslim society with their vulgarities, evil gazing, uncovered females, vulgarity, nudity, commingling of boys and girls, exchanging gifts to strengthen this impermissible relationship, and adultery things leading to adultery. No Muslim would have a shred of doubt about these things being impermissible and forbidden. In many Muslim countries now, many commercial centers, restaurants, and hotels have organized special celebrations for Valentine's Day. Most of the shops and commercial centers have been covered by red door. Balloons, toys, and puppets are spread everywhere in these shops. At one of the restaurants, there is a scene of Cupid. Cupid was typically depicted as the son of Venus and Mars. These were two principal deities in the Roman belief system. Venus, the goddess of love, sex, and beauty, and Mars, the goddess of war. Typically, Romans presented Cupidon in line with our modern preconceptions of him. He was a figure armed with a bow and a quiver of arrows. And this is what Muslims are now indulging in and following? How have we come so low? Allah says in the Quran, and among His signs is that He created for you mates from among yourselves, that you may dwell in tranquility with them, and He has put love and mercy between your hearts. Verily in that are signs for those who reflect. The key words in the verse are mawaddatan wa rahmah, which translates as love and mercy. The interesting thing to note about this verse is to notice the location of this verse along with the verses that preceded and those that come after. Allah mentions His signs: night, day, heaven, earth, man, woman, and He puts the feeling of love and mercy between spouses in the same value as the creation of heaven and earth. Now then, how can we ignore such a great sign of Allah? Apart from this, verily I was filled with love for her. Ever wondered who uttered this beautiful sentence? It was none but our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is how expressive our Prophet was. However, today we find that many of us are shy to express our love. In fact, many consider it a sign of weakness to say, I love so and so. And they consider it a blow to their pride to tell their spouse, I love you. But the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not shy to express his love of his wife. And notice that he didn't simply say, I love her, but he said, I was filled with love for her. This means that it was real, true love that he had for Khadija radiallahu anha, and that he was not shy to express it. There is no such thing as love being forbidden in Islam, which encourages Muslims to love each other for the sake of Allah and express your love to your brother. But of course, there are limitations to this. Let us see the concept of love in Islam. Love is that beautiful feeling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts in the heart of a sincere, pious, and God-fearing couple at the time of their nikah. And this is a serious long-term relationship in which both individuals are content and comfortable with one another. Not a short-term, action-packed romance thriller from the studios of Hollywood. So what is the ruling regarding love in Islam? It definitely isn't forbidden. It doesn't even mean that you are free to do whatever you will. We are ordered by our Creator to lower our gaze, because love usually starts from the eye. Tell the believers to lower their eyes and protect their private parts. The glance is a poison arrow of shaitan. Whoever lowers his gaze for Allah, He will bestow upon him a refreshing sweetness, which he will find in his heart on the day he meets him. And the Prophet offers one of the best solutions. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, for those who love each other, nothing has proven as good as marriage. Though it might come as a blow, but in case marriage isn't possible for some reason, it's best to forget it and leave the matter to Allah. For Allah knows what's best for us. Imam al-Shafi'i has written a poem on this matter. And from misery is that you love, and the one who you love loves other than you, or that you want good for a person and he wants to hurt you. When love for somebody is sincere, we seek that person's success and we wish that person prosperity in the hereafter. We do not indulge in illicit relationships, indecent activities, and waste time and energy and stoop down in the eyes of our Creator. For believing men and women are friends of one another. They command what is right and forbid what is wrong. Perform prayer and give alms and obey Allah and His Messenger. They are the people on whom Allah will have mercy. Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. We give no importance to celebrating love on a so-and-so day. We give no importance to celebrating a festival that has no part in our religion. Are we not aware? The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, whoever imitates a people is one of them. This involves imitating and resembling them in venerating that which they venerate and respecting their festivals and holidays and imitating them in some of their religious practices. Expression of feeling and emotions is not a justification for the Muslim who allocate a day for celebration based on his own thoughts and ideas. and to call it a festival or make it like a festival and celebrate. As Muslims, we need to distance ourselves from such frivolous events. We should not participate in anything associated with Valentine's Day, nor should we encourage it in any way. As fathers and mothers, we should pay attention to our children. We should ensure that we guard them from such activities by educating and monitoring them. Remember that by participating in Valentine's Day, we are destroying our Islamic morals and standards of respect and dignity. Let us become the army of Allah, not the army of Shaitan.